Hi everyone, Ryan here bringing you another drum lesson, and today's topic is how to improvise comping ideas for beginners. So, we work on some exercises, maybe out of some books or some worksheets and things, and you kind of get the coordination down, and then you say, well, I want to put this together and play along to a jazz song and improvise some ideas. But because there's unlimited ideas, it can be really overwhelming, and we just kind of lock up and freeze and we don't know what to do. So I'm going to give you a method that will help you do that, and it will simplify it right down, and you can start working on improvising some comping ideas. So let's get right into it. Alright, so we're really going to simplify this down, and we're going to just give you a few options. The problem is when there's so many options and unlimited rhythms and textures and different orchestrations of drums or whatever, it can be too overwhelming and seem too hard because you're like there's so many options. So we're going to make it nice and simple, and we're just going to pick three comping rhythms. So we're going to have our bass, which is just ride cymbal and hi-hat. So it sounds like this with no comping, okay? And then we're going to have snare on beat one. And then let's just do snare on beat 3 and, okay? So we're going to go. And what we're going to do, and if you like, you can write these down on a piece of paper and have a sheet on a music stand next to you if you like. And you're just going to have ride cymbal and hi-hat, the basic jazz ride cymbal pattern. And you're going to have snare comping on beat 1, and you're going to have snare comping on beat 3 and we're just going to alternate between these whenever we like. Now, we can always come back to just playing the ride cymbal as our bass if we, get a little overwhelmed. Because the ultimate goal to creating flow is to not stop, right? So if we, rather than stopping, let's keep our ride cymbal and hi-hats going. And then we can add a comping pattern in here or there. So I'm just going to improvise between those ideas, beat 1, 3 or just the ride cymbal on its own. And I'm just going to make up a little 8-bar exercise doing that, and we'll see how it goes. So here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so already, coming up with some ideas, playing some things I haven't played before, and of course, if you make a mistake, which will happen, we all make mistakes, then just try and go back and loop that small portion and try and fix it. So, for example, if every time you play a 3 you're adding an extra ride, this is a common mistake. If you go, okay, now that's a cool example, but if we're not trying to do that, then we want to make sure that we've got control over the instrument and that our limbs are doing what we tell them to do. So, let's say that example, the 3 you messed that up. We'll then go, okay, so whenever I play a 3 I'm starting to play an extra ride. So let's loop the 3 without the extra ride. And if you just play nice and slowly, along with the metronome if you wish, and you just want to loop that coordination and really drill in that the 3 you play the ride, then your snare comes in, then your ride comes back. And it's really about really knowing these patterns well and being comfortable with them and playing them a lot, and then they'll start to seep into your playing and they'll take a lot less thought after a while. So what if we did now, okay, let's say we get comfortable with that. You can add as many as you like. So we could add the 1, the 2, and the 2 all right? And we could go ba, 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 ba on the snare, okay? So sound like this. Okay, so what if we added that into our mix? Okay, so we've got ride cymbal, beat 1, 3 and we've got the 1, 1 2, 2 Just started raining, but won't stop us doing the lesson. All right, so here we go. A 1, 2, 3. Okay, so once you start to orchestrate these ideas, now we can move it along to the bass drum, or you can add the hi-hats. You can really, do this how you want. If you wanted to do a hi-hat note, a bass drum note, and a snare note, so maybe you do bass drum on beat 2. Let's do this. Bass drum on beat 2, snare drum on beat 1, and the hi-hat on the 3 and. Okay? So, beat 1, beat 2, 3 and. Okay, it sounds something like this. Okay, so that's just a little example I made up, but you can see how just selecting a few examples eliminates all of this clutter of, oh, what do I play? And you only have a set amount of things. So then you can just alternate between them and come up with some creative ideas. So whether you're doing, one note snare, or if you're doing some snare and bass notes, or adding the hi-hat or varying the ride, all of these, you can write out some examples. So write out variations anywhere between 1 and 1,000, I don't know, however many you want to do, but I'd recommend 3, 4, or 5 is probably good, and alternate between them, and then you can start coming up with some improvised comping patterns. And once you do this enough, then you'll start to kind of get used to it, and you won't need to write them down anymore, and you can just make up some ideas and use your ears and rely on them, and come up with some improvised comping patterns in the moment without any external things, piece of paper or written examples or whatever like that. So, yeah, I hope you found this lesson useful. If you did, please hit like, subscribe, and turn bell notifications on. I'd really appreciate that. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. And that's it for me today. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time for a new drum lesson.